James, what are you up to? Laura, I said square now. James and Laura up in this motherfucker. Was that all right? It always sucks having to grab my mouse and still look cool playing the guitar. Still look like a tool playing the guitar. Probably don't need check. Test. And my mic going back through my main speakers. I don't need that. Mrs. V's like, Jesus Christ, really? Laura, I love you, sister. I haven't got no. I don't know when the last time I made it to a news stream. Just doing stupid shit. Try not to cry about computer issues. I'm up and running again so far. James says sin will be lurking. Yeah. Yeah, I always post my stream title over there just to fucking push buttons. 'Cause I'm all about love. Yeah, 'cause broken hearts for assholes, right? I'm gonna have to clip just that. Hey, you know what you are? You're an asshole. Some of you might not agree. But you probably likes a lot of misery. But think a while and you will see. Dagmar was the ugliest son of a bitch I ever seen in my life. Hey now, hey. You know what you are? You're an asshole. Man, that's good stuff. What does this sound like? You're an asshole. See, that's why it was killing me. I learned a lot streaming with the laptop. I learned that 2 USB ports isn't enough. It's a goddamn mess. I don't know why the fuck the microphone, like the camera I'm using right now, I've had the mic like shut off on that camera for years and years. Maybe I had to do it with the old computer and then with this one, but like it wasn't even giving me the option on the laptop. It was just irritating as hell. It's like, what the fuck? Darlene, what's up? Bill M up in this motherfucker. Yeah, so this none of these streams are going to be very coherent, like if they ever were, but till I get my wheels back under me. But this whole thing with Syria is, it's good, obviously. I don't want to take any wind out of any sails. It's a plus 100%. The thing is if you look, and I am a glasses half full guy, or at a minimum, at the very worst, I'm a glasses too fucking big guy, right? But it's not like a bunch, things are going to be real great. I mean, Syria is a pretty diverse place. Um, and so having a bunch of rebels, not that they weren't fighting for a lot of good reasons, and it's all good in their heart and all that. I'm not, you guys know, those me well enough know that it's going to be tough, but without a doubt it's a step forward, right? So that's good, and and it shows that Russia is in no position to help anybody, not even themselves. Same with Iran, same with Hezbollah, same with Hamas, right? It sucks that it's almost like the 40,000, 50,000 that are at least being counted, women and children that were slaughtered in Gaza, was somehow that sacrifice and all throughout history where that we've seen in different eras, different locations, right? Not that those people chose to give their life, but like I don't know what else good. It's the whole thing in Gaza is fucking very hard, right? So I just hope that I'm just thinking of whatever way that we can attribute anything positive now happening in this world, or in that area certainly, to those folks being killed, murdered by Netanyahu and the IDF, and maybe giving strength to the Syrian rebels or Ukraine or whoever. James says the Niners will make the biggest comeback in history. I tell you, every year, James, right? Do they not? Do they not age you and I much faster than we need to be aged? Right at the end of the season, I have no idea what's going to happen with them guys, but yeah, I didn't watch the game, but I followed along with the whole thing on Chat Sports. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Like our division will probably be like the worst in the NFC too, I suppose. I think this thing in Syria is a temperature gauge of what's happening. I mean, I was disgusted as you guys were. I'm not a fool. I don't fucking kid myself for a minute about anything. about anything. If there's anything you guys think that I'm naive, that I've spoke on, and that maybe I sound naive, how good, how much do you really love me if you don't question me on that shit? If you think I'm missing something, you gotta holler. But when you look at Trump winning the election and um, what's happening in other Eastern European countries with elections like Romania, what's going on in Georgia, even just, kind of like, what would you call it? A fluke accident with the Korean or South Korean president, going out of his fucking mind. Thankfully they seem to have handled that well enough. But then with Xi being in power in China and Putin just maintaining whatever the fuck he's doing, Netanyahu, who we obviously, at least a lot of America, I consider Israel, the state of Israel, an ally, but I've spoke out against what they've done over there for many years. It's not a tough distinction in my view, but Iran not being able to come to the aid of Assad, Russia not being able to come to the aid of Assad, Hezbollah, a lot of people dying in Lebanon, but Hezbollah being battered pretty well. Nobody's against terrorist groups like that having their ass kicked. Putin, what's up, brother? Ow! James says we've spoken about, Miss Bills, HES, the Syrian faction that seems to be prominent, made a declaration that women will not be told or harassed on their dress, a positive sign. We've spoken. I heard a really good story too on NPR, or on NPR in the radio, or in the truck tonight. What was he? He was the Syrian executive for Syrian disaster relief or something like that, and he was going back to Damascus for the first time. He was getting ready to leave tonight for the first time in since 2013, I want to say. James says, we have spoken about Trump and Russia many times. It's not a myth. Anyone that doesn't believe Trump was helping Putin in Syria is kidding themselves, right? Putin says, so they have expressed a desire for secular rule, Bill. We shall see. Exactly. That's what I was talking about, or trying to touch on there, Putin, before you came in, was that, of course, it's great that Assad has been ousted, right? But it's not like, and I think about all the people that are like just, rushing back to Syria, that have been in exile or whatever, have, been refugees in other countries for so long. It's like the whole place is going to be a mess. It is a mess, right? The infrastructure, and now you're going to have, not saying that they shouldn't go back or anything, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, it's not like, and I know you guys get this, it's not like, hey, Assad's gone, everything's everything's good now. so much shit to fix, and it's like you know, Bill and Putin are saying it's not going to. We don't even know exactly how or what kind of government they're planning on getting in place. I mean, well, what little has been told, but we don't know that that's what's going to happen. And for sure, these people, you know, the rebels, or you know, and I don't know, even know exactly what if they have what their official, if they have some sort of official party name now, but you know, after fighting the kind of battle that they fought for how many years now, that they're stressed. These people are, they have not lived a normal life, or what we would consider, right, a normal life for a very, very long time. I mean, I just I do my best to keep in mind exactly how much different it is, even compared to what our soldiers might live like, even in war, right? Bill says John Bolton of all people brought up how what papers will be found in Damascus concerning Tulsi Gabbard. I hate Bolton by years, you know, about these things. He is. He's a fucking. He's like a. Instantly just want to punch him in the mouth guy, right? I. It's not just me, right? Like you, as soon as you click on a link or whatever, and John Bolton sitting there, you just like, right? What a fucking cocksucker. Seriously. What a fucking smug cocksucker. Jesus. How bad is the video, you guys? Is it like just fuzzy as all get out? I don't know why it looks really orange on both my monitors, but on my big one it just is like no definition. Yeah. Yeah, I was keeping up on the Georgia protest there all last week, and then over the weekend I lost track of that. Bill says Bolton is an old school war hawk that wants Islamic government destroyed. Oh, without a doubt. He's just, yeah, Bill, I'd be interested in getting into that sometime, like, because, I mean, it's bad on my part, right? Like I guess my attitude is it doesn't make any difference. So I just look at people like John Bolton as just white, racist, maybe Christian nationalists that, like you said, I really maybe have no soul, like Rumsfeld, and I don't know if it's a era of these fellas, kind of fellas, but yeah, really, yeah, I don't know. And the thing is that like with Trump, right? He's done whatever supporting for minorities in whatever ways. I just don't buy it. You know what I mean? And it's like you could look at it like tribalism, right? But like with you guys, and it is simple enough concept and easy enough, always been easy enough for me to admit to. It's like, well, there's, and you guys know I'm a world person, right? But I suppose there could be a scenario where things got bad enough, you would have to shrink that circle of who you can help and care for. It sucks to say. I mean, I'm sitting here not hungry or cold or anything. But we honestly, I mean, even we just don't. I'm saying I just don't know how I would write, right? Like, was it Shackleton's or whatever, or that was the gold mining one trail, right? Or explorer. Who's the who's the who? What was the Donner Party? Maybe that was fuck. I don't know. I get them all mixed up. When you got to start eating each other, right? It's like one of them. One of the stories, the crew were tighter than they had a tighter circle amongst a few of them that didn't include the cabin boy, and he was the one that got eaten. He was sickly, anyways. God, where'd I go with that? But that's how I look at Trump. Like, sure, he can say whatever he wants, and all his fucking little cult members will eat it up and it tell those folks, the blacks, the women's, whatever, until it somehow affects something he wants to do negatively, right? And then he finds a way around it. James says, remember when I told you Trump wanting to stop the Australian UK US deal, and many said it wouldn't happen. Well, there's so much talk about him doing that now. Yeah, Trump just like are you guys hearing me? I've said this. God, I'm gonna fucking start getting pissed in a minute. I really am. It's not Trump. He has people to sell this shit to. If he didn't have any buyers, I don't know if I don't see how it would be a problem. But like he is just taking anything that America is involved with and saying that's involved with any other country, right? And saying, oh, this is bad for us. Even if it's not, and people are going, yeah, we can just, why are we doing better on it? Even if we're doing well on something, right? And I don't have a specific example, but you guys know what I mean. It's like he is just taking and picking apart anything, he's saying anything that America collaborates on is hurting us, that we're getting gypped on it. Whatever the fuck it is, if it's like for our own fucking national security, or if it's for economic reasons or humanitarian relief. Putin says he can't tolerate any other administration's success. Yeah, he just wants to, you know, we've all heard this a few times. I guess he wants to shake things up, or the person shake things up, and some people are into that. But you kind of got to have, it has to have some line of rationale, doesn't it? I mean, for fuck's sake, what the fuck are we doing? Seriously, you guys. This isn't a goddamn echo chamber. You guys know that. What the fuck is the other half of them, or what the fuck is 30% of America thinking? I do not understand it. It's not just fucking inbreeds. James says he's clueless as you understand how important strategically the Pacific region, yeah, exactly, and South China Sea affects so many. Right, we would literally be. It may be. I mean, we'll just see how this goes. But like, if Trump just totally bows out or tries to bow out of NATO, now I've heard different opinions on whether he's even has the power or to do that on his own. But still, if Trump is just like, look, we're done fucking sticking our nose in and telling, giving a fuck what China or Russia or anybody or little Kim does, right? They will literally do whatever I mean, they're going to try and do whatever they want anyways. Yeah. Darlene says, never realized how much they actually cover Trump's lies, but they sure do. Well, the thing is that these people that are covering for him, they're literally selling out human, and it's not like I had a tough time before I ever started. Well, 2014 when I gave up the stupid Facebook crap, or right around there. The U.S. military has been used to do some god awful things. And I think I don't need to sit there and beat that horse every day, and I rarely have even mentioned it because it's such a touchy subject, right? Because we've done a lot of good things. But it doesn't make up for the god awful things we've been a part of, and we can't have that shit anymore. And the people that are covering for Trump are doing it strictly to get richer, and it's just, look, it's just hard for us normal or even semi-normal folks to wrap our heads around that you're okay with people knowing people are going to be slaughtered because of you helping to push legislation or agendas that will make you more money, James says that's how these dumb fucks think it's no different than Ukraine TV. It's over there. Exactly, James. From the beginning of that Ukraine shit, I've said out of right extreme sarcasm. Believe it or not, I know. There's no tanks running down my street, James. There's nobody I've talked to recently in America or near me that their kids are living in their 6-year-old kids are living in a fucking bomb shelter. It's one of the worst things I've seen is those kids all lined up on that wall in those bunks with complete utter fear. I can't even, they had no fucking clue what to think about, and it was just and any American being okay with that needs their ass kicked. We can't be the world's police, but how can we be okay with, yeah, people, we have people living in the streets here. A lot of them want to be. I'm not saying there can't be more social programs or better ran social programs without a doubt, but we're always dealing with stupid fucking shit. You know? Maybe we wouldn't, maybe we could fucking put the serious, dedicated manpower, the educated, informed, dedicated manpower behind the fucking the funds that are there for social programs if we weren't always dealing with stupid fucking shit. Right? It's very hard. I'm not saying we can't do more than two things at once, but a lot of people want to be homeless. It's so to say, to use that as an excuse to not help fund, it's just, yeah, we're by not helping Ukraine, if we said we're not going to fucking help Ukraine or folks in their situation, that doesn't fix a fucking thing for our homeless. It doesn't fix a fucking thing, right? So it's a bad excuse. It's a terrible argument. And at the end of the day, I think, so what is each of those children worth then? How much of our tax dollars? Where's the cutoff point? Is that what it comes down to, Speaker Mike Johnson? Is there a dollar amount on each one of those 6-year-old children's heads? And a limit, right? Right? They only have a certain amount of value to us for whatever reason. And how do we determine that? Is it easy for me to sit here as a numbskull and say that shit, you guys, or am I right on? Do our representatives have harder choices to make for reasons we don't know, or am I right on? Oh, excuse me, you guys. Oh, is it? It's Monday night, isn't it? Who's playing? Bill, you have to forgive me. I think, yeah, your team are so it was the Chiefs and the Rams, I think, was the late game last night. Why am I hacking all of a sudden? No, I wasn't putting myself down. I'm just saying, you know, I don't think I stand on that many things with 100% confidence, but I think that's pretty clear. The Bengals and the Cowboys. I don't know how the Bengals are doing, but if they're being the Cowboys, their season's done. AFC NFC game this late in the season. Yeah, I don't, unless the Bengals just need every win they can get or something, but I don't know. Maybe I should, I've talked about it for a long time about going on about in detail about the ultra boring shit that some of us enjoy. The 176 bases that we have outside of our country. And I'm not saying that like that's way too much, and so hey, if we did, but I have bitched about the defense budget, right? Being close to $900 billion a year, and about 420, 430 billion of it being black budget. And you guys can, as well as I do, that means there's no congressional oversight on that. Literally half. And yeah, our Medicaid or Medicare and Social Security, you know, dwarfs our defense budget, but I'm not saying I'm not necessarily opposed to uh it being that way. It's if we're spending that kind of money every year. Look, we've given Ukraine a total of $90 billion, 60 billion in military packages and stuff, and about 30 billion in whatever, however you'd want to say, cash, um, humanitarian aid, right? 90 billion, and again, so we've spent $1 trillion on our defense since the Ukraine war started. It doesn't, Putin. You're gonna get me to look. You know me, dude. Maybe I misspoke, but I thought it was somewheres in the couple $1 trillion range for those other two. 1.4 trillion a year for Social Security. All right, and eight. All right, so I exaggerated maybe a little bit, but still, it's over two. It's 2.2 trillion a year for those other two. So it's more than twice the. What did I say? Yeah, I said that Social Security and Medicaid dwarf our defense budget, and maybe that was the wrong word, but it's still $2.2 trillion a year. It's our only other two, and maybe and you guys will have to fact check me on that. It's the only other two budget items that are larger than the defense budget, right? Yeah, that's a good point too. Putin says that people are into social programs via payroll. Putin says, I'm not following what your position is. Something about FYR old kids. Something for old kids. Fred, what's up? Punt says you are referring to non-defense spending, which includes more than social programs. I was just comparing what we spend a year on defense, our total defense budget, not non-defense, but defense, and what part of that, about 45%, is black budget, which there's no oversight on, and compared to what our other two biggest budget items are, which are, right, if I referred to, like, well, I mean, Social Security is a social program. I'm not opposed to social programs. You know, that's not what I'm saying. My point is, we could do better with the money that we spend on. We spend a lot of fucking money on defense. Fred says they're called entitlements because, right, we are entitled to them because we paid into them. Right. Is Kez here? Kez says I wore the same sweater for 2 days. Did I? I haven't even streamed in the last few days, so how would you know that unless you've been window peeping? Yeah. Anyways, really my point of bringing that up is we've given a total of $90 billion to Ukraine. And I broke that down a little bit, 60 billion in military aid or whatnot, and 30 billion in humanitarian cash aid or monetary aid. But I'm saying with yes, we have homeless people in our country, but it's a terrible argument for like MAGA to say we can't be helping defend these children in a place like Ukraine because we have homeless and hungry here in America, and we have homeless vets. And it's like, well, wait a minute, what about all the fucking money that we're spending on defense? Just take the black budget part of it. And I'm not saying it's a complete fucking bunch of bullshit. It's just, isn't that worth looking at? Putin says the social programs are about the same as defense TV. You keep saying 1 to 2 trillion on social programs. Not correct. 1 to 2 trillion is all spending outside of defense. Okay. Well, I looked that up, and that's not how it's described, but I do understand what you're saying. But still, those two that I did mention, what percentage are you seeing of those two being of the total budget? They're huge. I know they are. Like 75% of the total budget outside of defense. And I'm just guessing, but it's huge. And yeah, it's very complicated, and I think that's probably what Putin's getting at, is there's a lot of different fucking shit attached to this and that for whatever reasons, right? That may not necessarily have anything to do with someone's Medicare or whatever, or at least So, but at a minimum, I think our conversation shows that we're lousy at fucking handling our money. Putin says U.S. has always had homeless and hungry. There is no will to end it. Right. Well, Putin, you know how I stand on that shit, brother. We have exactly. We have. I've said that exactly. We have the resources. We don't have the fucking will to do it. We don't have the serious people, educated, experienced, with the fucking heart that care, right, and want to do it in place. We have the money to do it. We don't have the will to do it. Fred says you need to realize the budget we see is called discretion. What? Right? I know. It's I oversimplified it, but that wasn't my intent. I was trying to make a point that what we spend, our three biggest budget items, right, and then complaining about the amount of aid that we've given to Ukraine, right, because we have homeless or veterans living on the street, right? It's just a lousy argument. My point was that look at what we fucking spend. How is helping Ukraine in whatever way we can not to our best national security interests? Yeah, bootstrap nation. In fact, a common argument that private enterprise can take care of the poor and that the government shouldn't be in that, but that's a lie. Yeah, right. Like the church, right, Putin? I don't know if that's what you're getting at with private enterprise, but yeah, you'll hear a lot of far right or conservative voters or whatever, like we can take care of the homeless with charity, and I guess you could look at like the same with people wanting to ban abortion and saying that adoption is a better option, but don't adopt kids or don't give a fuck that kids aren't being adopted. Not at a good enough rate, not even close. Darlene says homeless in the United States has a long history dating back to the colonial era. Of course, there's always going to be. That's why I said earlier, there's a lot of homeless folks that just want to be homeless, and that's not. I know it probably sounded raw. That doesn't mean there isn't a whole lot of homeless folks that don't want to be homeless and they have other issues. Most of the shit stems from either some sort of emotional or medical issue, right? Drug abuse or physical or sexual abuse growing up, right? They just have a hard time. They're either dealing with that or they're dealing with drug addiction. And I think that every person deserves a chance, and that without a doubt, there's probably certainly solutions for a lot of these folks can kind of be the same, but there always, when it gets down to it, something specific that folks need that changes in them and helps them make that transition, right? Like I said, Putin said, we have the funding. We don't have the give a fucks to. We can do better. We're never going to end homelessness. There should never be people going hungry in our country. There's always going to be people that just don't want to conform to society and whatever. I mean, we shouldn't lock those folks up. Putin says government should help with medical insurance for the people, for sure. Yeah, and adoption, Fred says adoption is also expensive. It is. And like, but foster care, you get families will get paid to foster children, right? And we've seen the disaster in that. And that's another issue, right? Kids, you know, whatever the reason is that a child is put into foster care, if they aren't getting adopted, they're being taken advantage of. Either by the state, by the not 100%, like, I'm not saying, because like my daughter's in-laws, they have, I've told you guys before, he's a pastor of the church, local church, and they've fostered a lot of kids and adopted quite a few. Bill says, pretty sure the first colony, Roanoke, will end up homeless. Travis, what's up? In California, you have to have a food license, like a restaurant, to feed homeless warm food. So that kicks a lot of help to the curb. Yeah, I get that. Well, it's the same. It's the same with any food kitchen, at least around here in my area. You can't just, and I know there's programs that restaurants, or at least in the past, restaurants, and not around here, again, maybe in New York City or something, but I know I've seen them where they're able to save leftovers, whether it was stuff that was made in the kitchen and never went out to a table, right? But there is a lot of regulations on that. And I don't know how to feel about that exact. I don't think that's not the issue, for sure. Are there some stupid regulations in place that are keeping us from helping a little bit more, being able to do a little bit better? Probably, but not to the point that it's probably making that much of a difference, I don't think. Hang on, you guys. I'll be right back. Hang tight. I don't know why. Oh, that's why I had the vinyl. Got myself a Cadillac, but I can't afford the gasoline. I got holes in my shoes, and I'm way overdue. Now, down payment blues. Down payment blues. I had to check my fire too while I was doing the BRB. I have new chimney parts and I'm happy as fuck. Putin, are you still here? I wanted to fucking... Putin was all happy about his fucking new computer. I can't blame him. That shit is cool. I'm a fucking Dutchman though, so like this thing's 4 years old, but I've been having issues, certain issues. So I've been playing around with the laptop in case I get desperate to stream. I don't feel like 4 years is long enough. Even though I have, man, have I beaten the living heck out of that thing. It's been so good to me. It is so good to me. It's like right now it's running great. Everything's kicking ass and taking names. I know how exciting new electronics are. I can't believe I've done as well as I can. I still have my first desktop, so I have 3 desktops. We got our first computer, home computer in 2009. Yeah, about 10 years behind everybody else, but I still have it. It's just nothing is supported really anymore on it. I don't think I can get on YouTube at all. Yeah, I can't for the most part. Just like the onboard or whatever factory programs or apps as they call them. Some of them still work. Did I see Fred was talking shit about Jerry Rice? Yeah, Mrs. V is probably down there. I didn't even know. I'm such a dick. I walked right through. Maybe she isn't watching, though. She could be disgusted. Fred says, James cheering for the Niners sounds like MAGA cheering for Trump. God damn it. Fred's lucky. I think Fred's a Steelers fan, if I remember right. So they're iconic, but they're not the Niners. Don't get all carried away. And how the Cowboys ever got America's team? Bullshit, I don't know. Fred says, are the Niners still a pro team? I like Fred. He does smack talk. Before I gave up Facebook, I was part of the NFL smack talk group. About 80% of the shit had nothing to do with football, but there was a lot of hardcore football fans in there. Is still, that group's still going strong. Niners Steelers Super Bowl. Yeah, the Lions certainly are a badass team. I don't know what if they just had kind of a shitty week or something not long ago. I think they broke their Thanksgiving Day slump though, if I remember right. Yeah, the Lions are cursed. That's why I could never be a Lions fan. I've been a Niners fan since like 83 or 84. And and then I was really pissed after they fired Mariucci after 2 seasons. It's like you can't rebuild a team in 2 seasons. Or you got to at least see what happens that third year unless it was, and I can't remember. I mean, I don't know what if there wasn't a lot of options money-wise back then. I can't remember that far back, but I know that Mariucci had brought Jeff Garcia to Detroit, who I liked. He had his moment. He was like one of the first running quarterbacks. Fred says the NFL offered the title offered the title America's team to the Steelers first. So that was an NFL thing? I just figured it was a Cowboys fan thing. How could that's weird. So the NFL had some sort of promotion deal. They said we're going to name one of our teams America's team. I had no idea about that. I honestly didn't know how it came about. I just assumed it was a Dallas Cowboys fan thing. Bill says the Lie Dogs are 12-1. They're everything people said they'd be last season. Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's the playoffs are a whole different story, right? But you don't get to be 12-1 by not being a solid team at somewhere along the road in a season. Yeah, whatever. If the Lions win out, great. But I won't be like happy for them until they get all the way. You have the Pistons, you have the Detroit Tigers, and then of course you have the pinnacle with the Red Wings, right? And I'm not a hockey fan, but the Red Wings history is amazing. Some of you might not agree. Sorry, that song came up after that. I just use a lot of backing tracks for off YouTube for when I'm just riffing off on shit, right? Just practice. But that one came up, so I thought I'd hear what it was all about. Looks like this person has a bunch of funky backing tracks as they're labeled. Nels, what up, mother brother? Ow. Dude, I can't remember how it goes. High speed grapefruit. High speed grapefruit. Pisses me off. I had that video up on one of the channels that YouTube fucking dicked me on. Watching fucking somebody talking about some video, the hardest riff ever written or something like that, and it was Stevie Ray Vaughan's Scuttlebutton. It is pretty badass fast. James says I'll go to a MAGA and predict 6 teams make the Super Bowl. I think I have to fuck off now. Because I'm going to sit here and play the heck out of this guitar and do some recording probably and grasp at the fraying threads of my youth. I appreciate you guys coming by. I really do. And if it's any, I think it's a contribution to you guys that I know I can go live and somebody's going to come by and say, TV, what's up? But you can bet your ass I will see you soon. All right, so you guys be good. Peace and love. TV2 out like a motherfucker. Should we go out with this track? It was kind of seemed a little bit light and fluffy, but